did not expect to be in this position at odds with our own government. But we believe strongly that we have a responsibility to help you protect your data and protect your privacy.
Apple CEO Tim Cook just last week talking about the FBI's lawsuit. Apple remained firm, claiming that assisting the FBI would set a dangerous precedent on data and privacy protections that their customers enjoy. But the FBI today dropped the lawsuit, saying they no longer need Apple. The FBI successfully cracking into the San Bernardino terrorists' iPhone. Let's talk about it with a couple of experts who know whereof they speak. First, via Skype, the former assistant U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York, Andy McCarthy. Andy, now a policy fellow at the National Review Institute. He's also the author of the book, Faithless Execution, Building the Political Case for Obama's Impeachment. And Skyping in from New Jersey, the former New York Police Commissioner and former Iraq Interim Minister of the Interior, Bernie Kerik. Bernie is the author of the book, From Jailer to Jailed. Andy, very quickly, what kind of precedent does this set now for future lawsuits dealing with this type of situation?
Well, I think probably not much precedent, JD, because the court decisions we have kind of come out on both sides of this question. I have to say, after a long time in law enforcement, the tradition always has been that technology proceeds as it proceeds, and it's kind of incumbent on law enforcement to try to break or intrude on it as it can. It's got to build those resources itself, not press third parties into it. It's really unfortunate that this had to end up in court. You would hope that a company like Apple would want to help the FBI in a terrorist investigation.
Well, Bernie, we know how it worked. Apple refused to help the FBI, but now that the feds can crack the iPhone, what does this mean to Apple? Did Apple, in essence, lose big by contesting the FBI's request?
Well, I think they lost to an extent in this means. During a period of cooperation, I'm sure that the Bureau, the FBI, would have gone back to them to explain to them how they actually got into the phone, if that was the only way to get in there. In this case, I'm sure that the FBI is not going to volunteer that information, and Apple's going to have to figure out on their own how they did it and what technology they used. But the sophistication of the hackers, the growth of technology, and all this other stuff, this isn't the end-all of these circumstances. This stuff is going to continue as time goes on.
And as time goes on, let's switch gears now and talk about the Hillary Clinton investigation concerning the emails. Apparently, the FBI now set to interview Mrs. Clinton and her aides. Former Congressman and House Majority Leader Tom DeLay was on the Steve Malzberg show. He says if any action would be taken by the Department of Justice, it would just be for delaying purposes. Look and listen.
If the FBI recommends an indictment, the Attorney General will appoint a special prosecutor. That gets this case all the way through the election. That's what I think is going to happen.
So politics meets public policy and an investigation. Bernie, do you think the DOJ would just slow walk this, have a stalling tactic to delay it through the elections?
Well, look, I would hope not. I have a lot of faith in James Comey. He's a man of great integrity. If he pushes forward with a recommendation for charges, I don't know how the Justice Department, the Attorney General, her staff, I don't know if they should delay it. I don't think they should, but listen, it's a political year. Anything could happen. I just would hope not.
Andy, from your vantage point, is an indictment possible? Is it even probable in this situation?
Well, it's certainly possible, but it's not probable. I'm with Commissioner Kerik. I know Jim Comey for a very long time. I think he's got a lot of integrity. Unfortunately, I don't think it won't be his call whether charges get brought or not. And I frankly think Tom DeLay is wrong as well. I don't think they're going to appoint a special prosecutor because that potentially takes the decision-making out of their hands. I expect them to slow walk it and take no action and run the clock out. Remember, these guys have been stonewalling on Fast and Furious for 5 years, so the thought that they couldn't do another 8 months on Hillary, I think, is unlikely.
Bernie, you've seen both sides of the law. From your unique perspective, should someone of high standing like Hillary Clinton be allowed just to get away with this if the FBI finds out that there's reasonable evidence to suggest that she committed a crime?
Well, listen, you know what, JD, just based on what we've seen, what we know to be real fact, there appears to have been criminal conduct with regard to the classified emails, the securing of the server, the distribution of emails, things like that. That's what we know about. That's has nothing to do with what's going on within the investigation and more than 100 agents, what they've determined. Nobody is above the law, and ask General Petraeus when it comes to the classification of government records. He was set out there as an example. So I think, if he's held to one standard, everybody else should be as well.
Bernie Kerik, we thank you for your assessment. Andy McCarthy, we're going to ask you to come back in a few minutes to talk about the Supreme Court. You heard what both these gentlemen had to say. I'd be interested in your comments. And there are a couple of ways for you to send your comments to me. First of all, you can send them to me at newsmaxtv.com/comments. Or if you like to use your Twitter account, our handle is at Newsmax Prime. Still ahead, a Colorado public school district distributing satanic material. Bob Schaefer will be here to discuss that. Stay with us.